Alright, I hate having to make videos like this because I just wish things like this didn't happen. But it has to be called out and we have to draw attention to it because it gives people a bad name. It gives reviewers a bad name. It gives people within the Nintendo community a bad name. What am I talking about? So it appears, at least based on the evidence I can see, that IGN, the number one place for video game news and reviews and all that stuff in the world, has copied Boomstick Gaming's, who is a YouTube channel, Dead Cell review. Almost verbatim, very close to word for word. There's a couple instances where the words were changed up a little bit to kind of make it seem like it was IGN's review. But in general, the pacing, the order in which things are talked about, and the way in which things are described are essentially word-for-word copies of a review that Boomstick Gaming did on Dead Cells. Now, Dead Cell is obviously an indie game that came out on Switch. I think IGN ended up giving it a 9.7. And what makes it even worse is that this review was written by Filip Miucin, I don't know, I can't pronounce his name. He's the new guy they hired to be essentially their head of Nintendo after Jose Otero left for work. Jose Otero was there for a long time, left to go work for Nintendo, and Filip was the guy hired after the fact, and he's their host of the Nintendo voice chat. So that's where a lot of you guys will recognize this from. I had people asking about when he was hired, that I liked the hire and all that stuff, and I didn't know anything about him. I just know I didn't like his style on the Nintendo voice chat. I liked it better when Jose ran it or when Pierce Snyder was running it for a little bit. Anyways, this is the first review that Filip has written and edited together himself. He's written other reviews at the site. This was the first one where he was 100% responsible, and it's very clear that he plagiarized the entire review. This is an issue. Plagiarism is one of the worst things that can happen. I don't know if it's worse than being paid off for a review, something that IGN has been accused of that I can't verify. Everyone I know that's ever worked at IGN has specifically told me that that doesn't happen, so I think that's more of a fans just jumping to conclusions more so than a reality. But in this case, I think plagiarism is just as bad because you're stealing. On one hand, if you're being paid for a review, you're being disingenuous to your viewers and your readers. But if you steal content from another creator, I feel like that's even at another level of crappery. And I don't know if Filip is going to end up losing his job. I don't know if he's just not going to be allowed to write reviews anymore. I'm not really sure because he has become a public face for Nintendo at IGN. And now his reputation is obviously completely tainted. And IGN itself has actually taken down the video review. They've also taken down the written review. And at the time, here's what it says when you go look at the review on IGN's website. As a group of writers and creators who value our own work and that of others in our field, the editorial staff of IGN takes plagiarism very seriously. In light of the concerns that have been raised about our Dead Cells review, we've removed it for the time being and are investigating. In short, they are looking into whether or not Filip actually plagiarized the review. It's pretty obvious it was plagiarism, and I wouldn't be surprised to see Filip fired. And it sucks even more because Filip was one of us. I don't know if you guys know this. Filip was a YouTuber. He is technically still a YouTuber. He still makes videos. He has a YouTube channel. It's bigger than ours. Not like one of those massive YouTube channels, but he's got a subscription of 62,744 subscribers. And before he joined IGN, because his last video is his announcement that he's joining IGN, that his content of the channel would have to change, and he obviously hasn't gotten back to making content yet since because he's been focused on the job switch. That happened like 9 months ago. But if you look at his channel and you look through his videos, very clearly he's a Nintendo YouTuber, right? He's got top 5 games for Switch in October of 2017, FIFA 18 on Switch, should you buy it, in-depth impressions of Golf Story, etc. And certainly on the surface, his content looked nice, and he had a pretty decent amount of views. His FIFA 18 thing has 590,000. He's getting 18, 20, 100K on a lot of videos. Definitely seemed like he was hitting on some right stuff. Now, I don't know. I'm not going to accuse him that all of these videos are plagiarized because I don't know. You know how many YouTubers are out there and how many analysis you'd have to do between his videos and other similar videos that came out before his. So I'm not going to assume that he is overall plagiarizing, because I can't prove that. But this is what sucks, is that he was one of us. He was a YouTuber like me, out in the world, making content, giving impressions, reporting on a little bit of news, showing off new gameplay whenever he possibly could show it off. If he got review copies and stuff like that. Giving top 5s and top 10s once in a while. It's actually something I plan to start doing very, very soon. And it's just, it sucks that this is ultimately what it all led to. It all led to him working at the largest video game outlet in the world, and quite clearly and obviously plagiarizing. Now, some of you guys might be looking for, where's the proof? I'm going to put a link down in the description to a video comparison of IGN's review versus the original review, which by the other YouTuber, and you'll be able to see the comparison for yourself. Determine for yourself if you feel it's plagiarism. I don't know how you can watch it and not feel it's plagiarism. So the question is, what's next? And I think what's next is clear and obvious. Filip should be fired. I hate telling a company what to do, but if IGN takes plagiarism as seriously as they are claiming they do, I don't know how you can't get... I mean, how... It sucks because Nintendo Voice Chat would have to address it. I don't know how they could not address it. Because this is a man who came there on good faith of being a YouTube content creator and turned around and kind of screwed his own company by being so proud and so highly touting of something that he didn't even do the work on. I'm not going to say he didn't play the game. I'm not going to say that he didn't formulate his own opinions and his own thoughts, because he's talked about the game, I think, on Nintendo Voice Chat. But when you do the actual review, you can't just copy somebody else's, a smaller YouTuber, and think you're going to get away with it. So, stories like this hurt. I don't want to be that person that rips down IGN, because I think IGN does a lot of great content. I don't visit them every day like I used to, because there's not always stuff for Nintendo there every day to listen to. But I genuinely respect IGN as an outlet. And I know some of you guys are gonna be like, aha, 7.8, too much water, blah blah blah, all the memes out there, and all the reasons you don't like IGN and all that stuff. But you gotta remember, like, the Kinda Funny crew came from IGN. Easy Allies themselves came from Game Trailers, who also worked closely at times with IGN. IGN isn't terrible. Jose Otero, who now works at Nintendo, came from IGN. Other people that work at Nintendo came from IGN. Like, there are literal Nintendo employees that came from IGN. IGN is not a terrible place. It's made a lot of mistakes, as any massive outlet can and will do over the years, that employs hundreds and hundreds of people. And unfortunately, it looks like they brought someone on to head up their Nintendo coverage that thought some plagiarism is okay. And that's a morality thing. The guy obviously does not have the morals to put in the work. I mean, he's paid to do this. So that's the sad thing. Like, the guy who made the review isn't paid to do the review. Maybe he'll make a little bit of money on the video, but he's not paid to actually create the review. Whereas Filip is paid to, given a salary to make this kind of content, and it just sucks. It really sucks. I'm sure IGN will, once they're done with their investigation, will probably issue an apology to the specific YouTube channel, which might actually help that YouTube channel, because it could send some of IGN's audience to that YouTube channel, help that YouTube channel grow. I think the YouTube channel itself has actually already shown some growth now that this has become publicly available information. I'm just glancing at their Social Blade stats, and even just today they have 61,000 views, because the IGN Copy My Dead Cells review video has over 70,000, and they've gotten 2,780 new subs today, which is huge for a channel that was only around 10,000 subs before this whole thing started. And I think that's probably why he thought he could get away with plagiarism, because the guy had 10,000 subs. 99% of people don't know who Boomstick Gaming is. Some of you guys have probably never heard of Boomstick Gaming either. They're a smaller channel than us. It's a channel I didn't even know about until this happened. But man, he just did a bad name for other YouTubers. In the Nintendo community. Now, gotta pay more attention to plagiarism in the Nintendo community. And he also, man, I can't believe he did this. Why, Filip? why? I'm not. Even though I did not like your style in Nintendo voice chat, I didn't think this was who you were. Based on what you had done on YouTube, I did not like see you as this kind of person. But it happened. I feel bad for IGN, who were duped into hiring him based on his YouTube content and couldn't catch his low moral standards. I feel bad for Boomstick Gaming because it's hard to feel bad for Boomstick Gaming in the end because ultimately, because IGN is acknowledging the issue, ultimately it's going to lead to his channel growing even more. Because why wouldn't it? Anyone who hates on IGN or is disgusted by this, and they're going to want to show some love to the guy who originally did it. So ultimately, Boomstick Gaming is going to get a massive bump, as we've already seen from all of this. Heck, they might shoot up past my channel when this whole controversy is over. But I don't know. You guys let me know what you think about this down in the comments below, because I this is not an IGN hate video. I don't hate IGN. I have a lot of respect for Pierce Snyder, and he's the head honcho at IGN. Like, I have a lot of respect for the people at IGN. And that's what sucks when something like this happens, is it just adds to that idea that IGN is lazy and doesn't put in the work and doesn't do this and doesn't do that. And really, it's like this one employee they brought on that clearly is not fit for the job, is not ready to have any sort of journalistic integrity standards. And that's a risk you have when you hire YouTubers, by the way. Even me. Okay, I've been in the industry of writing about video games since I was 12. I ran a Zelda website when I was 12. It ultimately led to Zelda Informer in 2007, and then blowing up that website to as big as it got before it was bought out and then eventually closed. And obviously now I make YouTube videos here. I never went to school to be a journalist. I hate writing. If we're being completely honest, I never enjoyed any sort of writing classes outside of creative writing. Creative writing was cool because you got to tell your own stories and use your own ideas, and it was more about the creativity of the writing rather than sentence structure. I mean, obviously that all mattered, but it's not like I failed English classes growing up, right? But I didn't really enjoy writing to that point where I wanted to go get a journalism degree, which ended up being a bit ironic considering that for a part of my life and for a part of my paid career, I ended up getting paid to write at Zelda Informer. And here I was basically being a Zelda journalist, and I never had the qualifications, from a schooling standpoint to be one. So it feels weird to talk about this because this is a risk you get when you hire YouTubers that don't have that kind of experience. You hire YouTubers that used to just work at GameStop. You hire YouTubers like me who used to just run fan sites. You're not sure where their journalistic integrity stands because they didn't learn those standards in college. I mean, I think everyone knows that plagiarism isn't okay. You learn that in school even, right? Like, plagiarism is not an okay thing, right? You learn that like in middle school, for crying out loud. If you copy someone else's paper and they find out, you're in big trouble. You're not going to get expelled usually, but you're going to get detentions and have your grade drop and all that stuff. So, it's a risk you take, and it just makes the Nintendo YouTube community look bad. It makes Filip obviously look bad, makes IGN look bad. The only positive out of this is Boomstick Gaming is going to gain some extra traction. Good for them. They deserve it after what happened, but I don't know. Tell me your thoughts down below. All right, guys. I'll catch you in the next one.